Hey guys, it's Carla. How's it going? Hope everyone is doing well. I'm back. It's been a while since I've been on here. Actually, it's been a year to the date since I've been on here. And this is what brings me back. I was browsing the other day just on the last activity I had on this channel. And I came across the last video I posted, which was in regards to going plant-based, going vegetarian, and ironically enough, it was on September 30th of 2017. So I opened that video up on September 30th, which was a couple days ago, a day ago, and I was guided again to kind of revamp this channel, get some new information out there, and pick up where I left off. So as I mentioned, my last video was about me going plant-based, vegetarian basically, and I'm back today because I am now vegan, and I want to share it with you guys. I want to share my journey through this growth of cleaning up my eating, and what has pushed me to do such a thing, and everything that I've benefited from, becoming vegan. So, well, let's get started here. So for starters, I was plant-based for, I think, over a year, and I would say mostly plant-based. I did come to, there was a phase when I craved seafood, and if I wanted it, I would have it, whether it was fish, shrimp, whatever type of seafood. I did treat myself to that, and it was something that made me or gave me comfort. And so anyway, from becoming plant-based to just about, I would say about 3 months ago, I started to feel this push again, this almost like a discomfort, kind of telling me it's time to grow, it's time to grow, it's time to grow. And anytime that I would have seafood, or anytime that I would treat myself to, something that I thought was going to be satisfying, I found that there was no satisfaction. It felt more like an indulgence. And because I started to recognize that there was no satisfaction, I didn't love eating that. I didn't love, you know, ordering it or having it whenever I would. It made me question, was I meant to grow again? Am I on a path where, why is it that I don't find satisfaction in what I'm eating? Because part of my becoming, vegetarian and plant-based was because I recognized that we have to love what we eat in order for it to serve our body positively. And so when I started to love what I ate and not guilt myself of the choices I made, I started to realize that there was satisfaction in that. And so when I started to not feel satisfaction in the food I was eating, it pushed me to question why. And a lot of my questioning and a lot of my growth comes from my connection to source. I meditate, and so for me, a lot of my clarity comes that way. And so I knew through meditating, and I knew through a lot of my spirituality, I've known it for a long time, that I was meant to be vegan. The problem was, I knew it in my soul, but in my mind, I'd convinced myself that being vegetarian was good enough, and that I found satisfaction in having seafood every now and then. So it was a treat to myself. That's how I, if I went out with friends, I would enjoy or try to enjoy some seafood because it would make me feel like I fit in. It made me feel like, I wasn't completely the oddball. And so that was my reason for doing that a lot of the time. Needless to say, I wasn't meant to stay there very long. So the universe, source, I've been pushed to grow again. And here I am, vegan. So I guess for starters, we can talk about how much I benefited from being vegan, or becoming vegan. And of course, the most obvious reasons are health. My health is probably in the best place it's been in a very, very long time. I would say probably somewhere around my high school years or shortly after my early 20s. And, I've not only do I feel I look healthier, and obviously my skin is a major reflection of that. Every time I look at myself, whether it's in a mirror or even like, a picture, I can tell the difference in my glow. I can tell the difference. I feel like, alive, and I don't want to sound cliche, but that's how I feel. And of course, I noticed that I feel lighter within myself, not just due to some of the weight loss, but I feel lighter because what I eat is light, and what I eat feels like life. I get energy from it, and I actually feel good about what I eat. Versus when, I can compare back to when I would eat meat and how heavy those meals felt to me, and I can even compare it to when I had, when I was having the seafood every now and then, and those meals felt heavy too. So, just the slightest adjustment has given me so much clarity and so much. I've benefited so much health wise, physically. I noticed that like my allergies have, I would say, cured or healed themselves. The biggest one was like the nasal drip and the sinus drip. I realized that all of that is gone, and I know that it's gone because I've cut out dairy completely. Not just milk, not just sour cream. I've completely cut out dairy. No cheese, no butter, no no eggs. And I realized that when I wake up in the morning, I can breathe. I don't have that, nasal drip thing happening. I realize that when the weather changes, I can breathe. I have no issues going in or out, and feeling like I'm going to sneeze my brains out. I mean, that alone to me, the association of the allergies that our sinuses are put through, and our eyes too, just from like dairy, having cut it out completely now, it's like night and day. I also noticed how thick and how fast my hair is growing, and it's probably the healthiest it's been in such a long time too. Like, I notice how much curlier my hair is and how much healthier, just like bouncy and full of life. And my nails growing fast and harder than they've ever been. And the little things that I'm noticing, like even not having to wear makeup. I'm not wearing makeup. Well, I have a little eyeliner on, but I'm not wearing foundation or anything like that. And like naturally, I have a glow, like blush to my, cheeks, and my skin just looks and feels so clear. And and that's just health. That's just the physical aspect of cleaning up what I eat, and all the good things that I'm reaping on the physical. The spiritual sense of this is how much mental clarity I've gotten. And well, for starters, if you guys have watched my last video, you would know that my going plant-based or me going vegetarian was not due to health. It was due to spiritual growth. I was pushed to not eat meat because the last time that I attempted to eat meat, when I took the bite out of the meal, I had like this vision or this apparition. I don't know what you call it. Like this thought of how the animal was slaughtered, and I couldn't even chew the food. I like spit everything out, and it was one of those like freak out moments I had, very fucking weird moments. And ever since that day, I stopped eating meat. Well, it was due to my spiritual growth. And so here I go getting pushed again for more spiritual growth, because me becoming vegan again was not due to health issues. It was not due to healing anything, or it was due to me growing spiritually. My soul's purpose has pushed me to get clarity on this, and why I needed to grow in this direction. And man, let me tell you, this is like the weirdest, most awesome decision I've ever made. And I've had so many things push me in so many different directions this year. And just from January to now, November, if I was to put my growth on a timeline, I would say I have grown 10 years in 1 year, and it's unbelievable to me how much just one small decision like going vegan can push you to grow in at such a fast rate. So anyway, part of my spiritual growth has given me huge mental clarity. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that, of course, those of us who are spiritually inclined or intuitively inclined know that eating meat has that attachment to death, because you are eating death. And so mental clarity is a huge part of, becoming vegetarian or plant-based, and even more so becoming vegan, because you are no longer putting that energy into your body. And, as we all know, everything is energy. And so, of course, what we eat is supposed to energize us. But when you give some thought to the things we put into our bodies, like meat that has been slaughtered, or sometimes, there is kosher slaughtering, which to each their own. I respect every journey for what it is, but at the end of the day, death is death. And so it goes along with like how that animal gets milked, how that animal gets treated, especially because in mass production, they're not treated kindly, they're not treated with love. And so the energy of how they're being treated does transfer to the things that we are consuming. So why do you think nowadays not manufacturers, but farmers feel the need to put caged-free eggs, or they say there's no hormones in the dairy products, or whatever the case is? Energy is energy. So what you are putting in your body, you are processing. And so, in my case, I wasn't supposed to be putting anything from an animal in my body anymore. And I knew that because I'd come to the point where I was not satisfied with what I was eating. A long time ago, I remember listening to an Abraham Hicks audio, and she was talking about how the energy that we eat our food in should be the energy that we gain from it. And so, of course, if you guilt yourself for eating something, you're manifesting guilt because you're not happy about what you eat. You're not happy about the things you're putting in your body. So for me, there was a huge shift that happened when I became vegetarian plant-based, because I decided I want to be happy about the things I put in my body. Why should I feel bad about, eating something that should be benefiting me, should be making me feel good, energizing me, giving me nutrition, right? So when I went plant-based, and further down the line, I decided to treat myself to seafood here and there, I was happy. I enjoyed eating what I ate, and that was my vibration towards putting food into my body every day. But there came a point where I didn't get any satisfaction from it anymore. Soulfully, I knew that I shouldn't be eating that. Mentally, I fought it. Mentally, I convinced myself that it was something I deserved. I deserved to eat a piece of fish. Why? Because I deserve it. I like the satisfaction I get from it, and so I'm going to continue to do it. But when I would eat it, there was no satisfaction. So it took me a little bit, and I had to go into my meditation mode, go into seeking clarity, and kind of weeding out why there was no more satisfaction from it. And it's because it's just another mental program. I'd convinced myself that consuming it was going to make me happy. Consuming it was, the satisfaction. But soulfully and spiritually, I have grown so much that my soul knows that harming an animal, any animal, is not satisfaction. And taking from an animal is not satisfaction. So I had come to that point in my life where it was time to let it go. It was time to outgrow that mentality, because my soul had already evolved. It was my mind that needed to catch up. And so as much as it was a battle between my mind and my heart, or my mind and my soul, I knew it was time to let it go. So a long time ago, through meditation and some of the people that have been guides to me, I've had several conversations where we talked about me being vegan, and I knew I was supposed to be vegan a long time ago. I knew that whether it was me journeying to that, or whether it was me making the decision right there and then, I knew that that's what I was going to end up as. And funny enough, it took me a little bit, but I'm here now. And all the clarity that has come from this decision is so major to everything else in my life. The growth wasn't just food. The growth was spiritual. It has pushed me to love myself to a point of finally understanding wholesomeness, finally understanding what it is to be in love with myself, treating myself lovingly and kindly, and setting standards for myself, not only because I know I am worthy of them and I'm deserving of them, but actually accepting them and actually enforcing them, and not feeling bad about my decisions, not feeling bad about, my growth, and not dimming my light for anyone, not to give anyone the power I carry within and shining as bright as I'm meant to shine.